Hi everyone, I'm going to do a video post this week. I like doing videos because it gives the post a more personal touch because I'm just not words on a screen. I'm actually a face and a voice. So first of all, the video deeply impacted me. I was very moved by it. And a little bit of frustration and anger came from it too because I was able to see how it feels to be a child with a learning disability in class. And some of those situations were just awful to watch because I can't imagine how it feels to be a child who can't help what's going on, but not only not help it, but not understand why it is they're having struggles in class, and then for everyone around them to equally be just as frustrated, not with the learning disability, but with them. So very sad, but it was very moving, and it did open up a lot of aha moments for me, like, oh, that makes sense, and oh, that explains that. So I can definitely implement that when I am a teacher in my future classroom. But moving on to the points, right away, Dr. Lavoie mentioned the fact that children who have no attention spans actually really don't have an attention span. They're not able to pay attention to anything. They're not distracted by anything because there's just nothing there. They don't really care. They're just kind of off in la la land. Whereas kids who are easily distracted focus on every little thing. So he said there's this often misinterpretation between the two words, whereas, children who have no attention spans actually aren't distracted. It's the children who are distracted who are distracted. So sounds kind of ridiculous when you put it that way, but that was just an interesting point to me. Another thing he brought up is it's natural for us to look away from something or someone if they're giving us anxiety. So if, for instance, it's mentioned that if a parent or a teacher is reprimanding a child and they demand eye contact, the child wants to naturally look away because in their mind that's their comfort. That's how it's going to calm them and allow them to lower their anxiety levels. But then we in turn demand that they again give us eye contact, which is just going to raise their anxiety levels. And I know we've all been there and done that. When anxiety is through the roof, it's hard for us to focus and kind of listen and pay attention. So just another very good point to keep in mind when it comes to talking with children. I know I demand eye contact with my kids, but I tend to, and I'm not a teacher yet, but I have 3 young kids. When I do demand eye contact, I'm usually stooping. I don't want to say stoop down because that sounds negative, but I crouch down, I kneel down so that I'm level with their eyes. I'm not looking down on them and demanding eye contact. I'm right here face to face to them, so I'm at the same level as they are. And that's when I give eye contact. So that usually helps, and I tend to notice anxiety levels get low because I'm, down at their level. But anyways, another point that Dr. Lavoie made as far as just basic questioning and answers in the classroom is when a child has a learning disability, sometimes the simple question itself is hard and challenging enough to understand. So when the teacher asks a question, the child with a learning disability might still be breaking down that question, and they might not even get to that answer while everyone else is getting the answers out. So as future educators, we need to be aware that this is a possibility, and when we ask a question, we need to take our time. When we ask the question, we need to make sure that it's a fair question, and we have to leave plenty, like I said, plenty of time for all students to be able to answer it, and that includes students with a learning disability. As far as strategies go, I liked a lot of the strategies that actually Dr. Lavoie used in his video, and I, for one, will be definitely using some of them in the future. So, the first one that he said was if he has a student or if you have a student who gets anxiety, if they believe they're going to be called on, what you can do to reassure them is, I will not call on you unless I am standing directly in front of your desk. If I'm not standing in front of your desk at the time that I'm lecturing, I will not be calling on you. So as long as the students are aware of that, that will kind of help with their anxiety. So he mentioned while he's talking, and he's walking around, he'll stop right in front of the student's desk, and then he ask them a question, and then he walks away from their desk, and then that student knows, okay, I'm not going to be asked a question again. But then it also gives them time to think about their answer. So that was one good strategy that Dr. Lavoie mentioned. Another one is the whole time thing. So a teacher can ask a question and say, students, this is what Dr. Lavoie talked about, students, I need 5 examples for this question. They ask a question and then they say, I'm going to erase the board or whiteboard. As far as our time goes, I'm going to erase the whiteboard. And while I'm erasing the whiteboard, you guys think about the 5 things that I need. So as the teacher's erasing the board, it gives all students, including the student with a learning disability, time to come up with the answer. And then to make things better, the teacher will then call on the student with the learning disability first to give them that first opportunity to give out their one answer. So then they're not left being the last student called on and maybe having all the other students pick the answer that was on the tip of their tongue. That was another strategy that I will definitely keep in mind when I become a teacher. The last one that's kind of an obvious one that just it works in a nutshell is patience. Patience and understanding. I know that's really not a strategy, but as a teacher, it is your responsibility to go into your classroom with not only a good lesson plan, but the ability to understand that that lesson plan might need to be tweaked and manipulated in such a way to appeal to all students, and that means all different characteristics and personalities, and in this case, students with a learning disability. So that requires patience and understanding on our part. And I think we're living in a time today in society where we accept differences and we accept that necessity for patience a little more than, for instance, when this video was recorded. I mean, the fact that the teacher was talking about examples of, teachers ripping pages up or snapping or clapping their hands, I just don't see teachers today doing something like that now. I would never imagine myself ripping a piece of paper if a student gave it to me. I would accept it. I would love it. I would say, you did a wonderful job. So I just think as times have changed, our abilities to be more patient and understanding has also changed. But this video is getting kind of long, but overall I really liked the video. I thought it was very informative and important for all future educators and current educators to watch. But thank you for watching, and again, this was part 1. Part 2 will be typed in the rest of my discussion post. Thank you.